What's up everyone, and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'll be reviewing probably one of the most well-known Daron Realtoy models, and that is the Southwest Airlines Canyon Blue 737-300. So like I just said, this is probably one of the most well-known Daron Realtoy models, and also probably one of the most well-liked ones. So this model was produced for quite a long time, and until it was discontinued in 2015, this model had been produced for probably well over a decade. I'm not exactly sure when this model first came out, but it was definitely sometime in the early 2000s. So this model was produced as both a single plane and a normal airport playset. Over the years, the playset did decrease in the amount of vehicles. The size pretty much stayed the same, but the number of vehicles that were included in the playset did decrease in size, pretty much like all the other playsets at the time. So another thing that is probably not known about this particular model is that it actually was planned to be produced in a large 25-piece airport playset. There was a concept that was released on, I think it was the Daron website, for a very short period of time, and I'm not sure why Daron didn't follow through with it, considering this was a very well-liked model and was doing very good in production sales and stuff. So it definitely would have been cool to have a large airport playset, and some of you may have seen the pictures online. If you search Southwest Airlines airport playset, and scroll down, you can pretty much find the concept picture. I believe it is on a couple of different websites, but from the picture, it does look like it was actually produced as a more of a sample model, but there could be one that still is lingering around somewhere, maybe possibly at the headquarters where Daron is located. But definitely looked like there was probably one airport playset that was made as a concept, but it never ended up actually entering production. So, over the years, this model was slightly more redesigned. So originally, when this model came out, it was designed to have more brighter tone of windows and more of a lighter gray coloring. For the first few years of the production, it had the light gray doors, or the light gray windows, and the door outlines, and the doors were also larger. The cabin doors were larger on the stickers, and then the Southwest Airlines logo and the coloring throughout the stickers and on the undercarriage were brighter than what the newer updated one was before it was discontinued. So overall, pretty much delivery design is relatively exactly the same. Apart from really just the coloring difference. The one I have that was in the original older, the first concept design, this one is slightly faded, so it is different than the actual one, but it is, you can tell between the window coloring, because obviously even if it's faded, it wouldn't get that faded. But yeah, so there were two different versions of this model that was produced. The most common one was pretty much the one with more of the faded window look, or not really faded window look, but more of the transparent, because they are a little bit more difficult to see with the blue fuselage coloring. So this model was never produced with winglets. It would have been cool to have one of these models produced with winglets, but at the time Daron had discontinued it. It wouldn't really have made sense for them to produce it with winglets, since the livery design was being replaced by the newer Southwest Airlines livery. But the new Southwest 737-800s do have the winglets on them. Unfortunately, they don't have the logo design. I think that would have been cool to have the Southwest logo design on this, especially on the Canyon Blue livery, to have the winglets with the Canyon Blue Southwest logos on the winglets would have been a really cool concept. But so, like I said before, this is probably one of the most well-known Daron Realtoy models, probably because of the overall livery design is definitely well liked. The Canyon Blue is a very iconic livery that was for Southwest Airlines for actually was relatively short span of time that they had it for. They pretty much only had this livery for around I think it was probably 7 years before they ended up replacing it with the newer livery. But Canyon Blue and the Desert Gold were definitely the most well-known and probably the most well-liked ones. I definitely like Canyon Blue a lot better than the Southwest's newer livery. The Southwest livery still is really nice, but I definitely like Canyon Blue a lot better. So, This model does have a real registration number and was pretty much the concept of an actual Southwest 737-300. The mold is in the 737-400, but the aircraft is based off the -300 series. The registration number is the November 316 Sierra Whiskey and 316 SW on the tail, and it was pretty much it was the exact same registration number for the older model and the newer model. So I won't be really reviewing the older one because the livery is pretty much exactly the same. I mean, really the only difference is the size between the cabin doors. You can see right there. Other than that, the livery design is pretty much exactly the same. So I do have actually quite a few of these models in my collection. I have probably 4 or 5 of these. 2 of them I had gotten at the Carolinas Aviation Museum in around 2013, 2014. I had gotten one as a playset. I don't know what happened to the rest of it, but I do still have the Southwest Airlines bus and the catering truck. Those I will include in the future video where I will do a complete Southwest Airlines fleet review. For this video, I just kind of wanted to make it simply just on the Canyon Blue 737. So, I recently got this model off of eBay, which is where this one was from. This one came with the box. It was not new condition, but it was really cool that it came with the box and is in really great condition as well. So, like usual, starting off with a review of the box. So, the whole box is in the Canyon Blue, the blue coloring, and the blue actually is a different color. I'm not exactly sure what specific tone of blue this is, but it is different than the more, probably the royal blue is what is used on the newer livery. But this one is kind of a little bit more of a purplish kind of coloring. The whole box is pretty much in it, and then you have the red and the orange stripes on the top and the side. The top has the original Southwest Airlines logo right there, and the really nice official Southwest licensed product. That is definitely one of the most detailed licensed product that is included on the boxes. Usually they're just a simple thing as listed on the back, but I think this one and the Hooters 737 is probably the most nice design one. And beside that is the Southwest Airlines logo, and then again with the red and the orange stripe there on the side. Same thing on the top of the Southwest Airlines, and then the red and the orange that continues along there. And then the cardboard piece that the model usually sits on also has the official Southwest licensed product on the inside with the Canyon Blue 737-300. And then there is the Daron logo with the die-cast metal new livery designs and plastic parts. And then the side has the Southwest Airlines logo again with the red and the orange stripes on both of those sides. And then there is on the back the Southwest Airlines logo there, and it has the 737-300 in the box art livery design and the box art image, and then it has the playset vehicles listed there. It's airplane and die-cast metal new livery designs and plastic parts. Daron logo at the bottom, and it also has the manufacturing date right there, which is June 9th of 2014. And then it actually does have the original price tag on this box here where the QR code is for a single airplane. The original price for this was actually $10. I actually got this model for a really cheap price. I was able to get this model pretty much for the selling price of it for $10. Was a really great deal for this model. You can find this on eBay. It isn't extremely rare, although people do like to list on eBay for pretty high prices, even though this model actually isn't that rare. It is on relatively high demand. Even after almost 10 years since production stopped, this model is still on pretty high demand. But it isn't that hard or that difficult to find if you do want one or are looking to add one to your collection. I would like to get a newer Southwest in the older livery. I haven't really been able to find one because this one definitely is not in the best condition. But I do have it anyway, so I might as well include it. So, moving on to the review of the model. So, up at the front, you have the 737 cockpit windows with the eyebrow windows displayed there above. This was probably one of the last few models that was produced with the eyebrow windows. I think around 2014 or 2015 was when the eyebrow windows were taken off, and it just has the usual 737 cockpit windows. So, starting off at the nose of the plane, you have the yellow stripe that goes along throughout all the way up through the fuselage and all the way up to the top part of the tail. The sticker isn't exactly together there, but it's kind of like, since it is a sticker, it is usually going to be like that. And you have the first main cabin door there with the darker gray cabin windows. Then you have a black outlined plug door right there with the Southwest, the stripe that continues on the engines. And I do also, with the Canyon Blue livery, I like how the stripe isn't just straight, which I'm pretty sure it was like that on the Desert Gold livery. But when they updated this one, the concept for the Canyon Blue is pretty much exactly the same as the Desert Gold, except they replaced the gold color with the blue, and then they updated the stripe to be a little bit more wavy rather than just straight across the undercarriage, pretty much where the fuselage connects to the undercarriage. And then you have the blue on the tail with the really nice and iconic Southwest Canyon Blue orange undercarriage. And then you also have the paint on the orange that continues up along the tail for the orange and the blue right there. I'm not sure if any of this is painted on here, or this is the only part that is painted on the undercarriage. It is something I've always wondered if this is actually painted up here, but there is no paint here on the back side of the tail, so it kind of does lead me to think that it really is the only spot that is painted is on the undercarriage. But they did do a really great job. Daron did a really great job with making the sticker connect to the painted line underneath. You can't even almost tell that it is actually a sticker right there. So you have the line that continues up there with the orange right there, and then the Southwest Airlines logo. And then the registration number, which is again November 3610 Whiskey on both sides. And then on the bottom, you have the original concept for the, what is now the model stand, or where the model stands usually are. I have tried to display this on the model stand, and it doesn't work because the hole doesn't go deep enough into the fuselage. Don't take anything out of that. And then there is the manufacturing date, which again is June 9th of 2014, with the Realtoy logo on display there on the bottom. Overall, this is a really nicely designed model, and is still one of many people's favorites, even almost 10 years after the production has ended on this model. Still is definitely a very well-liked model. So, and then on the older livery, pretty much same exact livery design, apart from the most recognizable color difference between the cabin windows, and the overall size of the main cabin door. That's probably more of the main difference, even apart from the window coloring that I actually noticed. And then you can tell the definitely difference between the Southwest logo coloring. Another thing with the newer model is that for some reason, as this model was getting close to the end of the production, the Southwest logo on the tail almost became transparent to the point where you almost couldn't even see it anymore. I do have to go back and look at some of my other models that I have and see when those were produced and when and what the logo was like on those tails, kind of to compare them. But so that pretty much is all for today's video. So I will be making another video in the future to kind of to list all of the Southwest models. It will be an entire Southwest Airlines fleet video. Just like with these two models, there are two different versions of the newer livery. One of them has an orange coloring on the tail, and the other one has a yellow coloring. So that will be the next video where I will include these models, and I also will try to put in all of my Southwest Canyon Blue models, I think 4 or 5 models that I do have. So overall, this is definitely a really nice Daron Realtoy model, and I definitely think making it as the 737-300, or having that registration number for a -300, was definitely a really great choice by Daron, because I think at the time, the 737-300 was probably one of the most used and probably one of the most iconic planes that Southwest had used until I believe they retired all of them in 2016 is when they officially retired all of them. So it was definitely a really great aircraft that Southwest had used at the time. But yeah, so overall, a really great model, and if you have not added this to your collection, I really suggest that you do, because it is definitely a really iconic Daron Realtoy model. So, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.